Hey, it's the Chief Bonding with Board Games and RPGs, and I'm zoomed in on a piece of a map for an adventure book called The Dark of Hot Springs Island. Now, there's a reason I'm zoomed in. So first, this is a map page on the inside cover. I'm going to be showing it, but I don't want massive amounts of spoilers out there if you think you're going to run through this as a gamer. Obviously, if you're going to be GMing it, no big deal. But I don't want folks to get ruined by some of the things, if I can get my finger on here, so you can see little pieces of it here. But this map is not only gorgeous, but it also has a few tells. But I'm going to show the breakdown in this book, how it goes, well, just its scope. It's such a great way to run a hex crawl. The second part of this is on the back cover of this book. It states that this adventure is for mature audiences. So if you're not mature, then click off now, please. So what does mature mean? The cover will show, I think it's some kind of ocean-going fantasy woman's buttocks. Looks like a woman. There's also what looks to be dead males from her species laying around on the ground, and a chain leading to a devilish figure called Svarku, S-V-A-R-K-U. Again, so this is a two-part warning. One is there will be some spoilers. I'm not showing every page of the book, but I wanted to show you the layout because it's amazing and I think you're going to want it. And then again, there are the cover page, and then in a few areas inside the book, there's a stone statue that shows, I believe they are elven statue breasts, maybe. So you may see that, and then you may see some drawings of, I think, some other fantasy characters that are showing breasts. So if any of that offends you, please turn off now. Turn off now. So there's the warnings. All right, we're back in, and you can see these hexes and kind of some of the detail. There's a volcano in here, the crab and the crocodile, I believe, or the alligator, just for, you know, good old map feel. But you can see there's like a little village, and I'm going to zoom in. So, well, maybe I'll throw up some photos here because I'm going to just show a couple tighter photos of a couple hexes, because what you'll see is the hex number in the lower left-hand corner of the hex, and then the artwork, which will tell you just visually some pieces about that hex as well. And that will allow us to flip to different pages that will give us some generalities, and then it can lead us to specifics about a certain race, or tons and tons of detail about the geography of this individual hex, and that's where I'll spend the most time. But first, to the cover. Again, the cover shows a buttocks. So we will flip here, and you can see this is like a gold or foil inlay of the Dark of Hot Springs Island. And you can see our lead bad character, Svarku, or however it's said. He's this demon-like character that is on the run, basically. I'm not going to go into his whole detail. He's on the run, and he's found this island to hide out at, and on this island he is basically, he's the king of his castle, we'll just say. So you can see the artwork here. Again, there's males that have been killed here. The book has this really nice, I don't know what they call this, it's this plastic cover, but it's not slick. It's almost got this like smooth, or not suede, but this kind of nice touchability to it. You can see that gold inlay extends to the binding, or to the spine, and then we come back where again we can see deadly chains and other figures that have deceased. Now let me blow this up and put it up in the corner here, and the main lead-off tagline will tell you almost all you need to know. This book is a barrel of gunpowder, and your player characters are the spark. So really every hex you move to has hooks and all these sparks and these things that are going on. And then you'll see again at the bottom is that warning I told you about, intended for mature audiences. What I really want to show is the layout of this system. The layout is ingenious. So again, of course, we've got the full use of this inner back here. This was a Kickstarter. I didn't learn about it until much later, recently really. We can see that we've got the Dark of Hot Springs Island, Jacob Hurst, Gabriel Hernandez, Evan Peterson, and Donnie Garcia from the Swordfish Islands. But what I wanted to show, so you get into a very nice table of contents, and then these hotkeys that give you just a little more information, and then maps and events which give you more information. But then you've got breakdowns for the different races that go into all kinds of detail. And then you'll come all the way around to the appendix, which will cover treasures for each of the races, the fauna and flora, and different bestiary that you run into. And it is just so perfectly broken down. So you can see it's a sandbox of black powder. So you just know it's explosive, there's going to be trouble. It kind of breaks down time and tables and hex. So you get these overviews. You get a sample expedition, which is really nice to see how everything works in practice. They give you an example of an area that would be explored and how that would be broken down or populated or how you would move throughout. And then again, you have travel and exploration. So it's explaining in more detail the time, the 4 standard actions you take, what it means to investigate, how it works in this book. And as you can see, you've got that same island map that we had on the front, but done in this format here. So easy to read, something you could print off, something you could cover and reveal as you go. Now you get into some of the genius, these one-line hex key codes. That's going to be hex 01. So you've landed on that hex, and there's going to be 3 different things. So on hex 01, you'll have HS-01-01, and then 02, and then 03. And just to give you that, I don't want to go through all of these in case someone's watching, but you can see all the hexes are laid out with these hotkeys. And looking at 01, you can see 2 bolded words. One is Srock, and the other one is Svarku. So these are going to be areas that will draw your eye in so you can tell more information. Now, before I move further, you can see on the pages, you have a tab system that allows you to kind of find what you're looking for quickly. Love it. You have all your encounter tables. I'm not going to go in and show all those now, but it's ways for you to populate everything and keep it randomized. Again, you get an overview of the map and how things are working with the different races, pages to go for more detail on those races, and then a full hex key. And in this hex key, each page is a hex. So this is HS-0101, and it'll give you the information down here, which I'm actually going to go into some detail with you. And then you can see the deeper investigation, and then a third, even deeper investigation. Now you get a little chart that you could roll up things for. You also get little adjectives that help you describe that hex in general. So undergrowth, tangled, dim. And you get to see not only the area that you're occupying, but the next 2 hexes that you'll be leading to, or where they'll be headed to. So again, just to give you a little bit of that detail, 7 large huts are nestled against a 60-foot high outcrop of black basalt, right where the tree line fades into black sand beaches. Now it'll go on and describe that in a little more detail, and then you get down to the dark. So the dark is Boar's Head Encampment is the home of Srock. So now you've got some more information. Of course, your players wouldn't know this, but maybe they're going to develop this information. Gives me the page of 131 to go to for me to get all the information I'll need on that tidbit. And it lets me know that he's the most vengeful of the Night Axe ogres. Okay, it's an ogre encampment, and they're called the Night Axes. Lookouts stationed on the high basalt outcrops, traps in the nearby jungles, and magical alarms make it difficult to approach unnoticed. Now again, that's great. Hopefully that sparked my memory, but if not, full details of Boar's Head Encampment are on page 46. I don't know why I have a hard time saying that. So for the encampment, I would go to page 46. But there's a whole nother page for Srock, who's the leader, on page 131 of this particular band of ogres. So I'm going to skip to the next segment, so I'm not going to show you every page, but there is a page for every hex. Brilliant. So I will turn to the section, and you can see it'll allow us to move. I've used that page tab system to get me there. Again, you can see there's very nice art that also signifies that we're now moving into the maps and events. And as we turn in, we have the Boar's Head encampment. And again, perfectly laid out, very nice, all on 2 pages now, with a little map showing everything. So again, spoilers here, but now you can populate things, you can read into great detail. Again, things are bolded, so you can just, your eye just dances right to the highlights and the main points. And then the map is numbered, and then corresponding details right below, and every main area is set up the same way. It feels comfortable, nice, easy. So turning to the next section, again using the tab system, I can move to factions. Now again, beautiful art coming in right as we come into the faction page, and I won't go through every single one of them, but again, you have the, I don't know, how do you say this? Fugonauts? But you've got the art, and we move into some of the details here, and you can see we have our demon, the same one that's on the front cover. So we will turn, and you will see you have tons and tons of detail on him here. You also get what does Savarku want and what does he not want, and then what else. And there's all this detail that you can just reference. So we could go through multiple factions, but we're going to use that tab system, and we're going to move to the first appendix. So again, you've got the nice art that leads you in. You do get to see a nice waterfall with a skeleton and a sword. And now it's going to break down treasure, and you'll get treasure. It'll explain you know, this is what's going on, and then it's going to explain treasure based on the different factions or races. And then as you dive a little bit deeper, you will have charts that'll be able to give you random treasure based on percentile dice for each one of these races. And then depending on the treasure you get, you're able to come in and read on the information for that particular treasure. We'll then get into non-player characters. Again, it's broken out in the appendix. You'll move from your NPCs, and then you'll move into rumors of the Elven runes. And again, it's broken down into 100 or percentile dice, little rumors that are out there, little sparks you can use. Then we get into some of the flora and fauna. And then you'll get into like a very limited kind of creatures section. And then you move into a very nice index. And again, we use the back cover to its full extent and full use. And the layout is just slick. It is awesome. And that is the Dark of Hot Springs Island.